Hi friends! Today we're going to talk about how we take an annotated bibliography, such as the one in front of me, and turn it into a paper. So this is an annotated bibliography for a paper I did called What We Talk About When We Talk About Transfer. And I'm just going to briefly kind of show you what it looks like. So the first entry, this is by author's last name, just like a references is, and you see it's Adler, Kastner, Linda, and Elizabeth Wardle, editors, naming what we know, threshold concepts in writing studies. And for those of you who are in my English 4, you should recognize this. It's what we used as sort of our guide for the different sections of class. So then notice this one's a little bit complicated because this book contains several sections that will assist my research on transfer and so forth. And then below it are the separate transfer chapters that I used. Okay, so you'll see one book has several annotated bibs. Then we go to Adler, Kastner, Linda, etc., and the next annotated bibliography here. So if we scroll back up, we'll see this is the overview of a book, and then there's sort of individual chapters with different authors in those chapters. And then this is a separate piece. This is, and I should note, this is all in MLA format. So it's a little different from APA, and that was just what I did for that particular paper. So let's take one example here, and I'm going to switch pages. So this is the actual paper that resulted of this, what we talk about when we talk about transfer theory, language, and praxis in faculty development. And I'm basically talking about a study that I did when I taught all of our composition faculty at St. Mary's how to use transfer studies to help them fine-tune their work in teaching composition. So this is very early in the paper, but it says basically an overview, and I'm just going to show you really quick. Robertson et al. Is that same piece that I just showed you, and I just have one short piece here of the impact of prior knowledge on transfer, Robertson et al. That was that chapter from Adler Kastner. And then I talk about the importance of reflection to transfer, and I say to Zach, who's the author of that, or of the threshold concepts often suggested to align with transfer, Adler Kastner et al., assembling knowledge, Adler Kastner and Wardle, naming. So notice a couple things right here. Adler Kastner et al., assembling knowledge was that second major piece. If we look, I'm gonna make this behave itself. That's the wrong thing. There we go. Adler Kastner et al. Right here. Okay, and then above that was Adler, Kastner, and Wardle, naming. And that's how I distinguished them. I had two people who, Adler Kastner is obviously someone who is one of those foundational authors. We see her name a lot. So I separated those, they say the same thing. So I'm giving them both credit. Adler, Kastner et al., assembling knowledge, semicolon, Adler, Kastner, and Wardle, naming. Okay, so I'm telling you there are two different articles that contributed to that one sentence, okay? So then it goes on, and this is the literature review, and there's some background here, and then I'm going to take us to a very specific citation. So faculty development is often challenged by assertions of its lack of usefulness. Faculty may believe that they are wasting their time taking a half day or even a few hours to enhance their practice. Isis Artes Vega et al. Assert that, quote, faculty resistance to continuing education in teaching also comes at times from inaccurate assessment of their own expertise. And then there's a page number. So this is a nice example for everybody of that. How do you cite in MLA? And then if I switch over to here, I'm going to search for Artis, because I have, I think, particularly very long. So here's Artis Vega. So this was my annotated bib, okay? It came from College Composition and Communication. That's a peer-reviewed source. And then I said, in the paper, the researchers set out to bring their shared experiences to the idea that comp-rep faculty are particularly suited to conduct faculty development. And I give this information. Notice that in my little annotated bibliography here, I don't have that quote. In the original one, I probably did have that quote and then just took it and copy and pasted it. But when we look back, Ortiz Vega et al. Assert and faculty members, all of this information is really coming from this annotated bib. Okay. And it's just been contextualized, right? Faculty development is challenged by assertions of lack of usefulness, and then we get the more information about that, and we get that citation. So one of the most important things you can do when you're taking your annotated bib, which is like this very straightforward information, is make a note about, where is this going to go in your paper, and what kind of argument does it support? And then and notice here I've said, among their views, an assertion is an excellent definition of faculty development. And that is what I used here. Okay. So give yourself that hint and tell yourself, where are you going to use that information? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Bye.